So hello everyone, welcome to this 1-hour webinar with ProThoughts, in which we are going to cover about all the recent changes that has happened to PMP and the upcoming ones, which we foresee and which are already announced by the PMI. Okay, so we are going to cover both the things, the past and the future. Okay, past means the recent past. Okay, so I think let's start the session. So for those who just dialed in, thanks for dialing in, and the topic you can see on the screen. So we are going to cover all the changes to the PMP in the recent past and the upcoming ones. Okay, so with that said, just before we get into, just so that you know about me, this is a short introduction about myself, whom you are talking to, interacting with. So many of you probably know me, but those who don't know me, my name is Arvind Nahata. I'm working as a director and partner with ProThoughts, and I'm myself a PMP certified professional, and I've conducted around 100 plus trainings for PMP, 5,000 hours in project management trainings, and you can see all the details on the screen, the qualifications. I'll just wait for 15 seconds, so you just quickly go through it. Okay, so with that said, just two more slides. Okay. What's the question? Anitika, I think it might be internet problem on your side if you're not able to hear. Let me just check and message her. Oops. Okay, so that's the message gone to her. Sandeep also just dialed in. So okay, fine. So just about ProThoughts, I'll just quickly take a couple of slides and then we'll get into the main topic. So for those who are new to ProThoughts, ProThoughts is into project management, and we do a lot of things beyond trainings. So the way we came up with this organization is in 2013 when it was founded. The ProThoughts is a registered institute since 2013, and we started the operations in 2015. But when we started with the sole purpose of project management. And right now, as of today, I will just talk about what are the things we are into as of today. Okay, so what are the things we are doing? I'm just going to browse it through quickly. So trainings remain the most primary areas. Yes, Abhishek. So I've muted everybody by default. So if you want to speak, I need to unmute you. Okay. So if you need to ask any questions, either you can type chat or request me to unmute. Okay. Now, so we are into a lot of things, training being the most primary, more than 50% of our effort areas and revenue. So we do trainings in 4 different formats. Classroom trainings. So we are present physically in 6 cities in India: Pune, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, Bangalore, and New Delhi. And we are expanded beyond India in multiple other areas, other geographies as well, like Malaysia, Singapore, Dubai, Middle East, in multiple locations. Okay, so these are the areas where we are conducting classroom trainings. Frequencies might be different, but like in Indian locations, all the 6, 1 batch monthly. Right now, because of the COVID, it is on hold. Classroom trainings are not happening. Okay, the second one is the online trainings, the live online trainings, like this live webinar. So we do live online trainings, official PMP workshops as well. Okay, so all those live online trainings we do conduct, and then we have a self-paced e-learning program as well. So that also you can attend if you want. Okay, so and then we do corporate trainings as well, where we train the employees of an individual corporate organization as well. That could be online, that could be live at their physical location as well. So it could be done in different ways. So these are the 4 different formats of trainings, out of which the classroom trainings, the physical presence of the trainer and the physical presence of the trainees, that is right now on hold since last couple of months. March was the last month when we did the classroom trainings. Okay, for those who want. So right now it's either live online trainings or the self-paced e-learning programs. These two you can enroll for. And we do much beyond PMP. It's a lot of other PMP project management courses as well. Okay, and we do some tools training as well, like MS Project and other things. Okay, so that was trainings. So you can go to ProThoughts and check all the different offerings for the trainings. A lot of different project management certification trainings we are conducting right now. Then we are also into project management software, like Project Insight is one of the things which we are the only ones in India who can implement that. Plus we do many others as well, but implementation of project management software and training on that as well. And then advisory or consulting services. And then we have recently, like a couple of months back, we launched a new portal called talkprojectmanagement.com. For those who are aware, you might be knowing TALK Talk Project Management. That's a platform for rich content, a lot of blogs, articles, surveys, a lot of those type of things on project management you will find on one location, and an e-commerce portal as well. Bookstore is the thing, but it's a lot of services as well in project management. You can get it there. So product and services rather than bookstore, I will put it that way. So e-commerce, I will say. Okay, e-commerce and the content. These are the two things launched on the TALK talkprojectmanagement.com. If I need to tell you the details, this is it about the TPM. We call it as TPM in short. Okay, so with that said, a lot of the upcoming webinars which we are going to conduct in the future, a lot of different experts are going to conduct on those. So you can see those also and register from that TPM as well. Okay, so the upcoming webinars also, you will find them there. So, and this is one of the recent slides which we added where it's a summary of all the things which we just discussed. Plus on the left side, you can see few of the awards since 2015 that we have got. So your story published our story in 2019, end of the year. So that's not mentioned here yet. Okay, so with that said, we are back into the PMP changes, what we are going to talk about. So when we talk about PMP changes, first of all, what we are breaking it down, the changes which have already happened in the recent past. So let me just talk about that first. What are the changes which have already happened in the recent past? Few you might be knowing, few might be new for you. First, last year PMI shifted from conducting the exam centers from the Prometric centers to the Pearson VUE centers. Okay, and the count of the exam centers also increased drastically because of that. That's one. Second, the weightage of the questions in different areas also got drastically changed. Like if I have to give you an example, earlier a lot of questions used to come on formula-based questions, but now if you take the exams, the numbers have drastically reduced. At one point, like 2 years back, more than 20 questions, which means around 10% of the questions were formula-based questions. And now that 20 questions in the entire exam is reduced to a single digit nowadays. At times, I know a few candidates who come up saying, I just got 3 or 4, I don't even remember I got a single. So a lot of less numbers. So they've gradually reduced. So in the gradually, like over quarters and in the last 2-3 years, they've gradually reduced the weightage on the formula-based questions in the exam. Plus, a lot of non-traditional areas have seen the increase in the number of questions coming up. Like say, for example, procurement management, or if I say communication, stakeholders. So if you say cost and time, it was big chunk of questions earlier, but still it's a big chunk, but still as compared to before, it's much reduced. Okay, so the non-traditional areas in project management have seen more number of questions coming in the exam. Change management is another one where you will find much more questions coming up. Okay, and then the third one, the exam fees and the PMI membership cost. Earlier used to include the taxes, but now since last month onwards, the taxes are additional on top of it. So that's like an extra cost that the individuals have to bear going forward. This is a very recent change. Okay, and because of the COVID thing, and because of one of the things that you can see in the next thing, the capability to take the exam from home, what PMI has also done is they have waived off the rescheduling fee. So if you took a date for an exam in one of the exam centers before the COVID impact happened, and because of the COVID impact, you are not able to go there, so they're not charging you to rescheduling the exam, and you can reschedule it to take the exam from home. Okay, so the rescheduling fee is waived off now for the time being. This might be a temporary thing, nothing clarified by PMI, but as of now, no rescheduling fees is being charged. Okay, so with that said, the next one, the next 4 points, if you look at it, we are going to talk in very detail at the end. One, PMI has started for the first time ever in their since their presence, they have started allowing the PMP exam to be taken from home. Okay, and we have one of our experts, a PMP candidate who cleared the exam recently, who is actually attending this session, Puneet. So he will be taking up all the questions at the end from you about it. So he has actually experienced it. Okay, so he should be the best person to answer it. He just cleared the exam recently on June 2nd. So I'll let you interact with him. Okay, he will give an introduction. He will do all of those things. But just to let you know that PMI has given this capability, and this might be a temporary thing till the time the COVID situation is there. Okay, once the COVID situation is taken away, and probably they will again go back to the old way of going to the center and taking the exam. Okay, so capability to take the exam from home, obviously it comes with a couple of restrictions, but something is better than nothing, right? So we'll talk in detail about that. And then this exam can be taken from home in the presence of an online proctor who will be helping you throughout the exam duration. If you face any problems or any, if you face any hurdle during in that exam period. Okay, and now one very recent new addition is they have also started to give an official 10-minute break halfway through the exam, and it's an optional thing. They ask you if you want to take it. Again, it comes with certain constraints which we'll discuss, but a 10-minute break which is not counted in the exam duration. So you can put the clock stops ticking for those 10 minutes. Okay, but again, as I said, it comes with a couple of restrictions, so you need to evaluate the pros and cons and then decide whether you want to take it or not. So the 10-minute break is a new addition, a very recent new addition that is there. So officially the PMI is allowing you to take a 10-minute break. Okay, so as I said, Puneet we will have a live interaction at the end for a Q&A with Puneet. Okay, so he's attending this session right now. So with that said, that was the past ones, and now the upcoming PMI changes. I'll not spend too much time on that, but I'll just quickly take maybe 5 minutes to just quickly go through what are the upcoming PMI changes, okay, which are officially announced by PMI so far. So I normally break it up into two parts: the changes in the content and the changes in the process and the structure. And all of those changes are going to be effective. Earlier, it was going to be effective from July 1st this year, but because of the COVID thing, they postponed it in the March and April timeframe to be effective from January 2nd. Okay, so till December 30th this year, you can take the exam with the current content and the current structure. Okay, so the changes, many of you might be hearing that, oh, there was a change in the July. Has it been effective? No. The July 1, 2020 changes have been postponed to January next year. Okay, now what are those changes? Content wise, primarily the major changes is one, Agile has been a part of PMBOK 6 in the current syllabus, but the weightage of the Agile questions or the hybrid related questions, those who understand Agile, waterfall and hybrid, the three ways of managing a project, the three methodologies, right? So in the Agile's weightage on the exam was relatively less, or even right now is relatively less. It's around 10-20%. Okay, maybe 1/4, 25%. It never crosses more than that. But from next year onward, January 2nd onwards, PMI is officially announced that the number of questions, the weightage of the number of questions coming on Agile plus hybrid will be 50%, which means half of the question paper will be on Agile plus hybrid combined, and the other 50% will be on the predictive or waterfall approach. It's much more than doubling the questions on Agile. That's one big change. Syllabus is the same. Okay, one myth is PMBOK 7 is not getting launched. That's why the syllabus is not changing. Syllabus is still saying, okay, that is not changing. Please, if you have that myth, please remove that. PMBOK 6 will remain same. Okay, maybe in 2021 later or 2022, they might officially announce the launch of PMBOK 7. That's not yet known to us or anyone. Okay, we are anticipating they might change that in 2022, but right as of now, PMBOK 6 is going to stay. Okay, so what is changing is within the same syllabus, the weightage on Agile will be more. Okay, that's one. Second, the way you are evaluated, the way the questions the questions that will be asked, their association with what type of question they belong to. So earlier the weightage, your evaluation used to happen based on 5 process groups, right? In 5 different areas. If I go back, sorry, not in this one. Okay, so earlier the weight you used to be evaluated, your exam pass or fail was dependent on your evaluation on 5 different areas. If you're, many of you who might be knowing initiating till closing, right? The 5 process groups. In those 5 categories, your results used to come up. But going forward from next year onwards, January 2nd onwards, they are changing that. On the PMI website also, if you go, you will find something called a PMI talent triangle, which is very well correlated with these 3 things: people, process, and business. So if I need to tell you, earlier this was the weightage. And in the bottom, you will find the weightage of the questions in the new pattern starting next year. So if you look at it, process itself, half of the question paper, process is 50%, right? Process means technical project management. And then people means 42% interpersonal skills, right? And business environment is all about strategic and business understanding of. So you should be having a strategic view, strategic understanding, and business understanding. So the business environment also you should be capable of handling. So your skills in that will be evaluated in the business. So that's pretty less, just 8%. 8% means 200 questions is a total number of questions. So 8% will be like 16 questions out of 200 on business environment. Okay, but still there will be a weightage on that. If you answer those wrong, probably just because of those 16 questions, you might fail PMP. You may not clear PMP. So all the 3 parts are important. You need to individually pass. Earlier, you need to individually pass in all the 5 areas, which is on the top. Now you will have to individually pass in the 3 areas. Okay. So domain wise, these are the 3 new areas in which you will be evaluated, or the questions will be given to you. Now, that was the content. Now, what is changing in the structure of the PMI? The way the PMI process works, the process and the structure. First, like ProThoughts Solutions is one of the REPs. We are one of the global REPs, registered education providers, right? So from next year onwards, they're getting away, like since 1999, they have been following the same REP status, REP procedure in the PMP procedure, in the PMP certification, right? But now they're getting away with the REP system, and they're introducing a new system in which the institutes have to enroll. So that is an ATP program, authorized training partners. This is going to be much stricter. A lot of fake institutes will be filtered out here, and they are making sure that a lot of incapable institutes are not able to conduct the PMP training program. So they are improving that with the quality of the training programs. So actually it works good for us, but it's not a good news for many of the other institutes. Okay, so that's one thing. So they are coming up with the ATP program rather than REP. That's one. Now, it's not only the institutes on which they have a strict guideline going forward, even the trainers. Right now, anybody who is a PMP certified, if he's capable of conducting trainings with a little bit of process, they can become trainers. But now there is a train the trainer program, and there is an official process in which PMI will evaluate the trainers, and every PMP trainer who is conducting the PMP workshops have to be authorized independently by PMI as well. The institutes like ProThoughts cannot say, okay, fine, we will have this PMP certified individual conduct our trainings. We cannot decide that. Right now we can, but going forward, there will be a PMI have a say on that as well. They will be certifying the training, like me being a trainer, I have to get certified by PMI to conduct these trainings. So they are making sure the quality of the trainers as well is getting improved. Then the third thing, the study materials. Right now, again, Rita Mulcahy, there are a lot of books. Many of you, PMBOK is not the only book right now, right? So PMBOK is, many people prefer PMBOK for PMB preparation. Rita Mulcahy, Head First, Kim Heldman. There are a lot of such type of books in the market based on which you can prepare. The way PMI is going forward is, PMI is, by the way, PMBOK was never a PMP specific study material. So PMBOK 6 is still going to stay, but still what PMI is going to do, they are creating PMP specific study material. PMI is creating PMP specific study material, and every ATP has to use the same study material by getting it from them. So the presentation slides that we will be using in the trainings, that will be coming from PMP, plus we will have to get the study materials from them and pass it on to you for preparing for PMP. That is one of the strict guidelines there. So they are making all the three things strict. The institutes, they are filtering out, the trainers, they are filtering out, and the study materials also, they are making sure it's an improved lot from them. Okay, so these all the three things are going to change a lot of things. Now, because of this, obviously the quality will be, they're trying to standardize most of the things here. Right now, every institute can do it at their own whims, right? How they look at it. So, but the problem with this is cost is going to go up. Okay, the PMP training cost. So whatever we are charging right now, probably we will be ending up charging a little more, or maybe much more. We are yet to do the costing, but it will be more for sure. Okay, because we are ending up paying to the PMI more as well, right? So that has to be passed on to the individuals who come for the PMP training. So from next year onwards, the cost of doing PMP is going to increase for sure. That's one. Second, even if you have taken the training right now in this till this year, that will not be valid from the next year, because then REPs are going to become ATP. There is a little bit slight overlap period which they are allowing the individuals, during which they can take it, but beyond that, the current 35 PDU certificates will not be valid. So you will have to go through the new ATP program to go for the PMP certification. Okay, and this is the third one, is our anticipation, because every time PMI has changed something, the exam passing criteria has become tougher. So this is nothing new this time. So passing criteria is going to be a bit tougher. So it will be more tougher for you as an individual probably to crack PMP going forward. This is our anticipation. Okay, and so instructor and ATP is going to become a key differentiator going forward. Okay, you will have standardized content across, and a lot of fake and pirated institutes and instructors probably will be out. So they are trying to improve the quality that way at a cost, okay, which is coming up now. So what do you need to do? What are the options you have? First, either the second bullet point, if you see, the second choice, either you clear the PMP in 2020 in the current pattern where the costs are less, efforts are less, and you just upgrade yourself with the changes, so that, like, I got certified in not in PMBOK 6, neither in PMBOK 5, but even the previous version, right? But I've been keep on upgrading myself so that I'm up to speed. The same thing you have to keep on doing. When PMBOK 7 gets launched, every time something changes, you need to know that what are the changes. So you need to upgrade. So next year, if you do the certification this year in 2020, your only work next year will be to just know the delta, the difference, which PMI for sure will be creating a 1-2 hour video and sending out to all the PMI members, so to go through, which will update you on that, upgrade you on that. So that's one of the reasons why we are recommending every individual to crack PMP this year itself. You can stay PMP certified in a much easier and much costlier way. You will be at par with the new individuals who are cracking PMP next year. And then the other option is, if you feel that you want to wait for that, pay extra, put more effort, then you can wait. And we are going to launch the new program effective from October or November this year. Okay, so from October probably we are targeting. So we will be the first batch on the new pattern will be in the month of October. So probably till September we will be conducting the workshops on the older pattern. current pattern, not older, current pattern. Okay, so you have these two choices, and you will be getting an emailer from us. So right now, because of the COVID thing, the live trainings, the classroom trainings are not happening. So you only have the two options, either the live online training or the self-paced e-learning course. Now, live online, it's a little more interactive like this one, okay, where you can ask questions and all, but it comes at a little higher cost and it's at specific times. Self-paced learning, you get more flexibilities. The self-paced recorded videos are there, so you can go through at their own pace. And the price is less than the live online. So both have their own pros and cons. You can evaluate which one you want. So the self-paced one is called an e-learning program, and the live trainings are called online trainings. Both are online. One is self-paced, the other is live. So you can decide. Both have their own advantages and disadvantages. And for that, you can get in touch with us. You can go to the ProThoughts website. You can go to the top. So by the way, we have a TPM website, is topprojectmanagement.com. You can raise the inquiry either on either of the platforms. Okay. You can see all the products on the e-commerce platform as well on the TPM platform, Top Project Management. You go to Top Project Management, on one of the top tabs, there is a shopping tab. Click on shop and you can access all the e-commerce items. Around 70 plus items are on sale right now. So now with that said, I think I will stop. We have a live individual. So we have Puneet Tiwari. He is here online listening to this. So I will just give a quick update about him, and then I will let him introduce himself. Okay. So Puneet attended our PMP training workshop before the COVID-19 happened in Pune in one of the classroom trainings, and he cleared the PMP just recently on 2nd June. Okay, and he took the exam from home. So I thought that instead of me telling all about it, you should be getting the first-hand information coming out from him, who have actually experienced it, faced it, right? And he have cracked PMP, so he's PMP certified now. So he, thanks to him for accepting to attend this and give you and share the experience with you. So he will first speak about his process and experience and everything, and then you can ask him questions as well. Okay, few of the pointers I have written down below, you can just go through it. And we have written a blog as well on the ProThoughts website about the exam from home, online exam to take how to take the exam from home. So the blog's link is at the bottom. So it's a pretty detailed information about the exam from home. But I will let Puneet talk about it. So Puneet, I'm just unmuting you. So just one second. Yeah, Puneet, you can unmute yourself.
Okay. Thanks, Arvind, sir, for providing me this opportunity, and thanks everyone for joining this session. I recently, gave this examination from home, and I found, some pros and cons, giving this examination from home. So, first thing is that you really need to have a good network, because they do not want your network go down and then you attempt it again. No, they're gonna cancel your examination and your fee would be gone. Then you would need to book the examination again. So I would advise, so before applying for this examination, go ahead and check the best network nearby, and uh, use that network for giving this examination. Because for a single second, if the network goes down, the thing that you have uh, purposely shut down a network, and you are trying to cheat from any material, and then you are giving the examination back. So they do not encourage this. So that is why I advise everyone to have the very good network. In fact, I had one network before, but I found some fluctuations. So I changed the network and used the Tata broadband. And for that particular 4 hours, I spoke with the Tata guys and I told them that I have an examination. I do not want any fluctuation. So they gave me the good service, and that is why, and I could attempt this examination without any fluctuation. So this is one prerequisite for everyone, and it is like mandatory. Second thing is that when you give the examination from the center, you get many breaks, right? Earlier you used to get n number of breaks you want to take, but with this examination from home, you can take just one break, and that break you can take when you are at the 90th question. So when you'll reach to that 90th question, a system will give you a pop-up and will ask you if you want to take the break or not. If you click on the continue examination, you would not get chance to take the break. And if you try to do that, they're gonna cancel the examination then and there only, and they're not gonna ask you anything. Okay, so you really need to make sure that you have a good sitting for at least 2 hours, because at 90th or 100th question you would be near to second hour or reaching to the second hour completion. So you need to make sure that you have a good experience of sample examination, like sitting 4 hours in a go. So that really gonna help you. Third thing is that when you read the question, because we Indians have a tendency to read the question and we make some noise, right? But they do not want any noise, and they're gonna interrupt you in between the examination, and that takes at least a minute or two to explain them that this is how I read question. But they do not encourage this. They want you to be mum during the examination, read question, attempt question, but do not make any noise. And they do not want you to look here and there, though they before the examination they ask you to give them a picture of your surroundings. So they make sure that you do not have any material, a single piece of paper or pen or pencil nearby your workstation. They want everything to be cleaned, and then they will allow you to give examination. So you need to make sure that your face is towards the webcam of your laptop or your desktop, because they're gonna continuously monitor you during this examination. So that you need to make sure of. Okay. uh, Once you have taken the break, you would not be able to review your uh, previous 90 questions. So before taking this break, you can review your questions. If you have selected anyone, you want to read it twice, thrice. If you want, you can do that at that time only. But once you have taken the break, you would not be allowed to take the go back to your previous 90 questions. No, they do not encourage this. This was all about examination from home. Uh, some advice I would like to give you if you are preparing for PMP examination. And uh, you'll find some 30 to 50 questions in the examination, in which you'll find at least 2 answers are pretty much same or good to go with. Now you would need to choose one, and your logic would come into action for that particular. You really need to have a good logic while selecting, because if you go to Facebook or any website, they ask you to mug it up the it toes, and that doesn't work in PMP examination. Mugging things is not going to help you in this examination. So you really need to understand all these processes and their outputs and the techniques it is using. It is not going to help you if you're going to mug all these things. So do not try to remember this it toes. Like, so if you are preparing to Rita Mulgai, I can advise you, once you're uh, going for any particular process, I would advise you to open the PMBOK as well at that particular point in time. So for any process, you read the ictos there and then try to understand through Rita Mulgai. So this will help you. Okay, so for this particular process, these are all the inputs which would be required. These are all the tools and techniques which would help you, and these are the outputs. So outputs, I would advise if you can make a note of it, uh, try to write all these outputs, not but the main outputs. So the outputs are going to help you in the examination, because in the scenario based question, they may ask you, in this scenario, this is what is happening, so what would you update there? So in that particular case, or in that particular question, you might choose that particular document which would be the output of that particular process. So output is really important. You need to don't mug it up, but try to understand for this particular process. Like for collect requirements, requirement documentation is an output, so you need to understand that. Okay. I would also advise you to uh, understand what is data representation technique, what are all the techniques come under data representation or data analysis or data gathering. So if you're gonna if you understand this, this will really help you in selecting the best answer. Because for any process, any question, they're gonna ask, which data representation technique is gonna help. So in that case, you will find, one or two options would be of data gathering and data analysis, and there would be a two option for data representation. So it will help you in, uh, unselecting these two options. Then you'll have just two options, and you would need to select the best one there. So this will help you there. For numerical questions, I would advise do not spare much time in mugging up the formulas, because in this particular examination you will find just one or two numerical questions that would be like pretty much easier, and you would not need even calculator in that case. They might ask what would be the CPI or SPI kind of a thing, and the data would be pretty much simple, like 15,000, 20,000. It would be very much easy for you to multiplying or dividing the data, and you would not need calculator even there. So do not waste your time in doing the so many calculation while preparing for this examination, because you will find just one or two questions there, and that would be very much simple. For schedule based questions where you draw the network diagrams in the examination, if you're giving it from home, they will not allow you to draw the picture on the paper. In fact, they will give you an option of whiteboard there. So you can, while preparing for this examination, you will find there are n number of softwares available in the market, one which is there in Microsoft as well. So you can practice the schedule based questions over whiteboard, because to draw that picture on uh, whiteboard takes time, and you really need to be very much acquainted with this whiteboard before you go for the examination, because at least one question you will find of network diagram, and there would be around 10 to 15 boxes there, and in order to draw it, it is going to take at least 5 minutes, and for 5 minutes you could have attempted 5 different questions. So you really need to pretty much acquainted with the whiteboard. So I would advise you to practice the network diagrams on whiteboard rather on pen and paper. Okay, so this is all from my side. Any question for me?
Yeah, thanks, Puneet. This was nice, great insights about this work from exam from home. I was just taking down the notes because now you know better about the exam than anyone else, including me, right? Having the first-hand information. So one of the things, yeah, this is a great point that the rough papers are not being given. So every individual have to practice this on the whiteboard, right? The network diagrams. I think that is the only thing where you need the whiteboard. Anything else that you think that we need the whiteboard for?
No, in fact, if you are writing anything on whiteboard, okay, and if you have taken the break, once you come after the break, you would not find anything on the whiteboard. So do not write which you need post break on the whiteboard, because they're gonna remove everything once you have taken the break. So whiteboard is just required for schedule based questions and nothing for it.
Okay, and I have quite a few questions here which I've noted down. Probably I know the answer, but it's the interest of the individuals. I think it makes sense. These type of queries they might be asking. So first of all, do we get any initial time to become familiar with the system here? Like say, for example, there are two questions here. One, when you schedule the time for the exam, like say, for example, if an individual wants to take a date of say 29th of June to sit for the exam. So are there any slots, or he or she can decide that, okay, I want to take the exam from 11 p.m. till 3 in the early morning, or I want to take from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. Any
Okay,
specific time?
okay, so when you apply for this examination, they ask you to book the slot. Okay, so you'll find so many slots there, and you can choose the slot according to your availability. Like I chose 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Okay, so once you choose this slot, they will ask you to appear for the examination at least 30 minutes before, and in that 30 minutes, they will give you one, a dummy kind of a thing. There you will, find, how this examination, this new interface would look like. How can you select, grades there? How can you opt for whiteboard? How can you opt for calculator? How can you select the next option? So there would be one dummy kind of a software which will give you the full, insight of, how the real examination looks like. So in that 30 minutes, they will teach you that only.
Okay. And calculator, even though we don't need it, but in case if somebody wants, just like how we get an online the calculator on the computer, here also you will get an on-screen calculator, right?
It's pretty much similar, and on the interface itself, if you choose that calculator box, that calculator will come up and you can do your calculation there. So that's pretty much similar, the same which we use on Microsoft laptops.
Got it. Okay. And yeah, one thing what you just said, like the Tata Docomo thing, that the internet connection fluctuation, the reliable internet connection is something. So if you see the bullet points on the last bullet, which we have mentioned, the essential things: one, you need to have a webcam. It might be inbuilt on the laptop or a desktop, or you might have to have a dedicated webcam, because they want that. Based on that only, they will be tracking you all throughout the 4 hours, that you are there and you are the only one who is taking the exam, and you are not using anything else, no help, no support. Okay, so that webcam should be on throughout. Number one, reliable internet connection. I found one of the other individuals who gave me a feedback that he got a good experience with Airtel fiber, so he went it with that. So I think area-wise, you need to figure out in your area which service provider has a reliable internet connection, and based on that, it will be really nice if you could take it on LAN, on the rather than on a hotspot or something. Okay, so
Yes,
don't try to be on LAN.
in fact, 2 days before my examination, I spoke with the PMI guys. So I asked them, what would happen if the internet goes down for a second, say for example. So that guy, advised me, if you can give this examination from your office, it would be pretty much better for that individual, because office network, you can trust on, right? So if we get the chance, giving the examination from office, even that would be, a good option, rather giving the examination from home. So you can go to
Right.
your office, you can appear for the examination from there.
Right. Even if each of you have to like maybe postpone the date by a day, prepone or postpone by 1 or 2 days, but if you could take the exam from the office, I think this big headache of internet fluctuation reliability, which they are making you accountable, PMI is making you accountable, so that can be taken care, right? So keeping that in mind, you can plan. So so I think those were my questions. Now I think I will unmute all of the rest of the folks. So anybody who have a question, or if somebody has a question, rather than unmuting everybody, please raise your hand, and there is an option of raising the hand in the. So please raise your hand or please message in the chat box, so I unmute you. Else everybody will start asking together. I don't want anyone having any sort of questions. I tried to ask most of the questions which, as an individual, if I want to take the exam, might come to my mind. So, but still, if there are any, please message or raise your hand. We still have around 10 minutes more. We have around 20 plus attendees here. So let's wait for a minute or two. Okay, so one of the questions in the message box, chat box itself, Syam is asking eligibility criteria for taking the PMP. Oh, so that's a basic question, Syam. So eligibility criteria is, so hold on. So a couple of questions which is nothing to do with the exam from home, but I think we might still answer them. So, okay, I'll start from the bottom, which is related with this. So Nitika is asking, can we use the office laptop for the exam? Does it support? So my question to you, Puneet, did you take it from the office laptop or personal laptop? Hello? Right, Syam, I'll cover that. So, okay, so let me just talk about these eligibility criteria and all in the meanwhile. Hold on just a minute. So, to qualify for PMP, you need to have minimum 3 years of experience in project management, 36 months of experience, plus you need to attend this 35 hours mandatory training, which we as a ProThoughts Solutions is one of the institutes who are providing that. Okay, not every institute can provide. The institutes who are registered with the PMI, official institutes who are allowed by the PMI to give you the 35 hours of training, only their 35 hours will be validated. So your experience of 3 years minimum on project management plus these 35 hours of training in project management. These two things together will make you eligible for PMP. Okay. Now, when I'm saying 36 months of experience, 3 years of experience, that is, I'm assuming that you have a bachelor's degree. If you don't have a bachelor's degree, if you are a diploma holder, then the same 3 years of experience extends to 5 years of experience. So either bachelor with 3 years of experience or diploma with 5 years of experience. And on top of that, 35 hours of training. This is a requirement for qualifying for PMP. Okay. So that is one thing for the eligibility. Now coming to the research question, how much time it takes to prepare for the exam? So I will let Puneet answer that, but before that, just one quick our analysis which we have seen over thousands of candidates who have given and got certified in PMP. A proper preparation effort requires minimum 200 hours, maximum 300 hours if you are preparing smartly. Now you might end up putting in 800 hours of effort as well if you're not having a good strategy and not putting in smart effort in preparing. But minimum 200 to 300 hours. Now 200 to 300 also is a big range, right? But why I'm keeping this big of a range? Because individual to individual, your grasping ability, your exposure to project management, your experience, a lot of things, your capability might vary, right? So if you have a lot of those things might vary. So how quickly you can put those 200 or 300 hours of effort, that's up to you. We have examples where individuals have done it in 18 days, and we have examples where individuals have taken 1 year as well. So again, it depends completely upon you how quickly you can put in that 200 to 300 hours of commitment. Now these 300 hours all is not studies. Major chunk is studies, but the application process, the improving the scores in the exam, a lot of things are involved. It's a complete step-by-step process. We're not getting into the strategy right now, okay? But it's a complete process, will take 200 to 300 hours. So Puneet, if you could answer that question. So have you taken the exam on the office laptop or on your personal laptop? I think we dropped Puneet. Puneet, you're not visible here. Okay, okay. It seems like I muted you. Just give me 1 second. Please, Puneet. Please unmute yourself.
Okay, okay. So I gave my, no problem.
I didn't realize I muted you.
Okay. So I gave this examination from my personal laptop. I felt, one challenge, because if you're going to use your office laptop, I'm not sure if you have the access of admin to install a software, because, for appearing this examination, you need to install their software. So if you have the access of, installing, any external software on your laptop, then I think you can appear for the examination from the office laptop. Otherwise, you would need to use your personal computer or laptop.
Yeah, that's a good insight. That we need to install a software. So Nitika, so that I think answers the question. That first check whether you have the capability to install something. Do you have the admin rights to do that? So that will give you the answer whether you want to use that. Okay, more. So Shyam, if you want to go for the PMI membership and earning PDUs, that's like the process of the PMP. You can connect with us later after this. We just have very short time left. We don't want to use that time. So you can always connect with us. So let me just put the next slide on the screen. So these are the contact details. You can reach us out on the phone numbers. You can email us. You can go to the website and raise the inquiry. and we will be more than happy to help you with the process. Okay, we assume that okay, so Abhishek has a question. Is the exam interface application is bulky? Just wanted to check what sort of internet speed we should target. Puneet, do you want to take it?
Okay, so the plan which I'm using at this point in time is of 25 Mbps. So I had, one plan which was for 10 Mbps, but I felt, it was pretty much slow. So I uh, changed the plan, and I'm using at this point 25 Mbps, and I think that is pretty much reasonable these days, because in Pune or in metro cities, you would not get plan of 5 Mbps or 6 Mbps. Everyone, each and every vendor is providing a good plan of 50 Mbps or up to 100 Mbps. So I would advise to pick the best plan for yourself.
Right, and one thing that Puneet earlier told when he was explaining the whole thing is that during those 1 or 2 days when you are going to take the exam, probably you might connect with your internet service provider and tell them maybe to increase the speed temporarily or make sure the fluctuation don't happen. So that way also, and then if you're on land, maybe still a little less um, package will do. But if you're using it remotely, then probably you might have to upgrade your internet service. But it's a good idea to connect with the internet service providers and tell them about that. I don't need a fluctuation at least this 1 day or this 2 days. That will be a good idea that he did. That's a good that's a good question, Vidhi. What if power cuts happens on that day during the exam? Can we reschedule it or postpone it?
Well, you need to have a good backup then. You need to have inverter and all. So
Yeah,
you can't do anything. Like, we are in India and anything can happen. We are not in states or something like, so you can expect anything, anytime, anywhere. So you need to be pretty much prepared. Like, you need to have a good risk management plan, right? That's a known risk.
So Vidhi, I think you need to have a backup for this, either inverter or something else. If you feel that a lot of power cuts happens in your place, then probably it's not a good idea to take it from your place. Or figure out which days it don't go. Probably those will be the days when you should be taking it. So basically, in short, PMI is not taking they are giving you this capability of taking the exam from home during the COVID times, because something is not in their control also about COVID. The governments are not allowing the individuals to go into the center and take the exam, and in the interest of the health and the risks, they also should not be doing that, right? So but they have extended this capability for the first time. They're also not comfortable doing this, allowing you to take from home. But because people are prepared and they cannot wait for 6 months, so they understand that. So that's why they're giving this capability, but with the given conditions that you also need to adjust to it. So one of the adjustments is somewhere you also have to bear the burden. So this is probably one of the places, the power cuts, that you have to take care of that. They cannot take that. They cannot control what's happening on your part of in your house, right? So for that, probably the workaround will be to take it from your office. If a lot of power cuts happen in your place. So, okay. So Nitika, if you have both, then the bachelor's higher degree is considered. So ignore the diploma. In your application, you need to put bachelor's. They only ask for the highest education achieved. Okay. So another question from Rishabh is, after application submission and getting approval from PMI, can the exam be taken immediately or is there a wait time? Right now, I think you can take the exam from home, right? So there is no question of availability of the computers on the center, right? So I think you can decide when you want to take an exam and take a date. So today, if your application got approved, reserve, and if you want to take a date for day after tomorrow, I think you should be all set. Right, Puneet?
Right, correct. In fact, with this option, we have, many slots available, because I tried using, in fact, I booked this examination earlier through centers, and I just got, a couple of options, and even that got cancelled because of this COVID. So we have, plenty of options available. like plenty of slots available these days. If you want to give this examination at 12 o'clock in the night, you can appear for this examination. So time is not a restriction these days.
Right. Okay, so another question from Umesh is that when you started the exam or even earlier after you enrolled for it, did PMI recommend any OS system, operating system or browser in which it will be better compatible, exams will be, you will find it more easier and user friendly? Any recommendation from PMI for any OS or browser?
No, they do not provide any recommendation about the OS, but they mention you need to have a reliable network. Their software is, can work either on, it can work both on, MS Microsoft as well as on uh, Apple's laptop. So
Or Google Chrome as well?
that's not a concern. That's okay.
Yeah, so Sunil, all 7 days, weekend, weekday does not really matter. Because you're taking it from home, they don't have to worry about having the center available, running up and running, right? So I think all 7 days you can take the exam, even during the weekends.
And when you are giving this examination, you need to make sure that no one is in the room. If anyone comes in, they pause the examination and they ask you, like, why is this guy, coming in the room, and you need to lock the room before you appear for the examination. They want, security. And
Right. So that's why I mentioned, yeah, so I actually considered that. That's why if you see in the previous slide, the very last bullet point, it talks about a quiet space where you can spend 4 to 5 uninterrupted hours. Right, a quiet space where nobody disturbs you. You need to have that as well. Yeah, that's a good point. So make sure all of these considerations, and then only so the thing is, to everyone, PMI is extending their hand. They are going into that uncomfort zone of allowing you to take the exam from home, but to maintain the sanctity of the PMP, to make sure that the PMP is not compromised and all of those things. They have to put certain restrictions, right? So that's why and the things where they cannot control things on your side, you need to make sure that you control things where they cannot do that. That's why they have to put a little bit of burden on you. So they are giving you this flexibility, obviously with certain conditions. Now whether it works for you, it does not work for you, you need to evaluate all the pros and cons, and then you decide. Maybe a month or 2 months later, they might come back saying, okay, fine. And now the centers are open and you can come and take the exam from the centers. So we don't know. Even PMI don't know when it will happen, right? Because COVID situation is even beyond their control. So try to work it out, all these risks, and see if you once you're prepared, no point delaying the PMP, rather get it done. Okay. And personally, we will suggest 2020 is the year, get it done ASAP before those changes which we have discussed earlier. Okay. One quick question from Nitika: the water bottles and all those things, you can keep it with you, right? In the room?
no, even that is not allowed. So make sure that, before you start this examination, you have good breakfast and you have drink the water and all. So they would not allow you to go even for water, in between the examination, apart from this 10-minute break. So they
Okay.
will
So
not allow. They just laptop and their mouse. That's it. Other than that, they would not allow you. And they will not allow you to start the examination.
right, and even for the restroom breaks and all, you cannot take that. You cannot go out for anything. So make sure that before you start the exam, you go for the restroom, drink water a little bit, a lot of those activities which you might have to, you might need it. Don't take a chance. Just do all those things beforehand. Okay.
And
So
you all need to make sure that you have a good sleep before this examination, because we become anxious, right? So we do not get good sleep, and we appear for the examination and half of our mind will not work. So make sure that we have a nice sleep, nice meal, we have ample good amount of water within us, so that our brain should working in that 4 hours. That's a prerequisite, I would advise.
Sure, perfect. So I think with that, I just browsed through and I think we answered the questions which were in the chat box. Nobody raised the hand that he wants to ask a question. So, okay, so Umesh, I think Puneet answered that question earlier. That okay, so hope we can skip questions and get back on those. Okay, so Puneet, yeah, this is a good question from Umesh. So in the first 90 questions before the break, once you reach the 90 questions, say within instead of excuse me. So say you reach the 90th minute, you reach the 90th question on the 80th minute itself. Now, if you want to revisit some of the questions which you have tagged, you need to do that in that 90 minutes time frame itself, right?
That is correct. So not 90 minutes, it's the 90th question. So so it is like, you know, if you are at the 120th minute or 90th question. So suppose you have come to a 90th question at 100th minute. So your break will start from there.
So as soon as you touch the 90th question, they will give the option of break, or they will ask you before that do you want to revisit the tag question? When to revisit the tag question? After the 89th question? Because as soon as you answer the 90th question, I think the break will be requested, right?
That is correct.
So you should be revisiting the tag question after the 89th question. That's what should be the approach, right?
Once you are at the 90th question, they will ask you to revisit the question. You can do that. And if you skip for it and you apply for the break, then you would not be able to revisit to all these 90 questions. So again, you will start from 91st, and then at the end of it, you can just review from 91st to 200th question.
Okay, got it. So after 90, they will ask two things, one back to back. First will be whether you want to revisit the tag questions. If yes, they will allow you that, then you will take a break.
Right. Okay. So you can go to the grid, you can check your marked question. Once you have done that, you can apply for the break. There is one button there. Once the button is, you have pressed it, your 10 minutes break will start from there. And you need to be on your system once this 10-minute breaks are over. Like if you're gonna exceed this break, they will check you. You are not there, they're gonna cancel your exam. They are pretty much strict about it. So make sure that you are tracking each and everything.
Right. But if you decline the break, then after the 200th question, you can revisit all the 200, right?
Right.
Okay. So that was one of the questions just came up on the screen from Rizal. Okay, I think we have overstepped the time by 5 minutes. It's already 9:05. Good that we had a good Q&A. A lot of questions came up in the chat box. How to take the brain dump? So time is the time will be shown on the clock, right, on the screen.
Right.
So Nitika, you will have the time going on the screen. So you will know how much time has passed by. On the 70th minute, you will know that 70 minutes have gone by. Okay.
In fact, that screen will cover your entire laptop screen. So you would not be able to, check your laptop screen as well, laptop clock. So that particular interface will cover, 100% of your screen. You would not be able to use that taskbar as well. So that time you will find that on interface, like 3 hours remaining, 2 hours, 30 minutes remaining. That you will find on your interface only.
And Bharat's question is how to take the brain dumps. How to take the brain dump? I really didn't understand this question.
Exactly.
What do you mean by brain dumps? If you want to explain, Bharat, I can unmute you. Hold on. Even I'm curious about what we mean by brain dumps. Bharat, you can go ahead.
Yeah, basically, actually, I logged in late, so sorry for the question. I think it may be answered, but this was regarding before the exam, we jot the formulas and all on a sheet of paper, and create like a brain dump where we tabular form of all the processes and and the knowledge area. So just wanted to know, I mean, like in the online exam, is there a provision for that?
No,
No,
Bharat.
no.
Brain dump should be dumped in your brain only. You have to directly use it from your brain, because this exam from home, they are not even allowing you rough papers in the. We discussed that before. I think you connected here that the rough
Okay.
papers will not be allowed. They will give you a whiteboard on which you can do all the rough activities that you want.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thanks.
Sure. So I think with that we will stop today. I think we answered addressed a lot of queries here, and I also got a few insights here, Puneet, from it, because I also didn't discuss with you in so much detail when we connected. So good that we had this session. Okay, and I hope a lot of valuable inputs were received by the folks who are preparing for PMP and who are dialed in. So probably they will be now in a much better position to make decisions on how to go ahead with it, right? Whether
Arvind,
to go
just
ahead
one
with
thing
it.
I would like to correct.
Yes.
So the screen if shows that you want to take break or not. If you click on don't want to take break and you want to continue with this, even in that case as well, you would not be able to go back to your first 90 questions. So the
Okay.
exam is split into two portions now. Okay, initial 90 questions, then rest of 110 questions.
Okay.
Once you have
So
reviewed all these 90 questions, that portion is gone. You would not be able to go back and check all these answers. No, that is gone.
so you mean that whether you take a break or you don't take a break, the first
Right.
90
You wouldn't.
questions you have to review it when you are on the 90th question.
Right.
Okay.
In fact, these new rules and regulations, they're gonna implement this on centers as well very soon, I think. So
Right.
it's gonna same like if you want to appear from home or from center, rules are gonna be the same very soon.
Right. I still remember a year back, I think a year or a half back, around 18 months back, one of the ladies who actually attended my workshop, and she actually got pregnant during the preparation, and she actually requested to PMI that during the pregnancy, because of the pregnancy thing, I am in my 6th, 7th month, and it will be tough for me to sit non-stop throughout the 4 hours. I'm just telling you, this is a practical experience. I faced it. I actually interacted with the PMI at that point for this candidate. So she was pregnant with 6-7 months, and because of that, it was really very tough for a pregnant lady with 7 months pregnancy to sit non-stop for 4 hours, right? And but she was ready to take the exam, so she wanted to still do it. So she raised a request with PMI, a request to put this break of 10 minutes in between, and PMI actually at that time accommodated that request for her, just for her specifically. And it was mentioned that we normally don't do that. NC provided all the official proofs about the pregnancy and all, obviously with those things, and then PMI accommodated that fact. So that was an exception. So now I think that's making, I'm assuming that they might have got many such requests, because of which maybe they're realizing that this 10 minutes break is the good option to be given. Maybe that was one of the reasons. Many others might have requested for some other reasons. So as you said, they might make it a regular norm in the centers as well. Okay, so I think we did the Q&A as well. So with that, thanks everyone for dialing in, and all the best for those who are preparing for it, or those who will be willing to go for the PMP, who are just thinking about it. You can still do it in 2020. 200 to 300 hours of effort is what we need from you. Rest, I think we will guide you and help you in detail with your certification. You can connect with us, okay? And I hope you have noted down the contact details, so you can reach us out, okay? And we'll be more than happy to take it. And thanks, Puneet, once again for lots of insight. And I'm 200% sure everyone who is here must have got something or the other, must have got certain takeaways from your experiences here.
Thanks, sir. Thank you, everyone.
So thanks everyone again. And with that, I think we will conclude this session.